live in a system. The law is above all the components. All the components within natural systems, they follow the law governing such systems dutifully. There are no violations, there are no breaking the law or the rules intentionally, like I mentioned in the other video. All activities are detected by the law. So if you have a democratic system that other subjects are now above the law, you know that there is a problem. There is a fundamental problem. Again, this is where we begin to talk of lack of autonomy for other arms of the government. So you see that in Christendom, wherever a duty, a function is given, adequate or commensurate ability is given to such components to perform such duties. You understand? So when you come to a democratic system, such adequate ability is now spoken about in terms of commensurate, independent, or autonomy. And a for an arm to have autonomy, it does not mean that this is purpose. We can now say this is autonomy. We can now say this bar represents autonomy. You could have autonomy about 15%. You cannot deny that you don't have it. The judiciary could be said to have autonomy. But the question is, do they have it at 15%, or do they have it up to 100%, or do they have it at least at 50%? That is the question. So by the time this autonomy does not get to the exact intended level based on the law, based on the ideas of democracy, that there is a separation of power between components that are governing the system, it becomes an error. If it does not reach to where it is intended, it means the judicial arm will begin to be ineffective. The discussion still goes on, but I would, in this discussion, we could be discussing around this place, and I will take a leap and discuss some things ahead so that you know that this is the direction we are taking this discussion, so that it may prick your interest, so that you stay with me in order to understand what I'm saying. And mostly, to get what I'm saying, you must watch the previous video that I have made in order to stay up to date. And there is a reason why our man-made system or democratic system must behave like natural systems. You understand? And before we continue, you should know that other systems, monarchical, authoritarian, oligarchy, the oligos, and other systems of government, the level at which they behave like natural systems is around 15%. The level which democracy behaves or tries or successfully emulates natural systems is about 75%. Because in democracy, you see delegation of duties and functions to subsystems. You see it in the federal character, the federating unit system. You see the state, the federal government, and the local government, they are all given powers to manage the affair of the people. So, to say you've given someone power to manage the affair of the people, the discussion does not end there. How much power have you given this person to manage the activities, or, yes, secure, protect, and bring growth and development to their people? If it is not enough, the idea of giving him power to take care of people would just be to no aim or to no purpose. The purpose or the goal will not be achieved. If the purpose is achieved, it will still be around 10%. It won't be enough. You understand? So if power is to be shared and if duties to be given to arms or subsystems or elements within a system, those duties must also be accompanied with commensurate power. And the idea of democracy, where the powers are shared between the three arms of government, is a very sensitive power dynamics issue. If you say the judiciary have power, but in real sense, they don't have it, or they are not functioning as such, it means they function that they have been given by the grand design of a democratic system, which is to adjudicate the law, system, punish crime accordingly, such that the bad character of the individual, as we have already stated, is suppressed and the good in men is out for common good of the society. The judiciary will begin to underperform. And this is the case. And for those people, research has also proven this point. And for the persons that are not looking towards a systemic restructure and they're looking towards individuals changing their minds to becoming good or behaving good all the time, they will be getting it wrong. Or even if they have it right, which would have been the easiest way to resolve our issues or tackle corruption. But since that is not happening, I am saying or wanting to cause your mind to think towards a systemic approach to resolving the issue with corruption. Because by the time you give the judiciary the commensurate power and ability to perform their functions such that they be effective at their functions, be 80% effective at performing their functions, it means the power that we as a people under a democratic system, under the principle of separation of power and check and balance, wish to accord to the judiciary. If it is the bar to be raising to 50%, we must raise that bar to 50% in reality. It cannot just be in theory that you just say this is what you want to do. You write it down. Even between individuals, after you make a decision, you must work that decision. So giving the judiciary autonomy or independence is not enough. That independence that is given must be commensurate or level up to the duties that they have been given to perform. Because if the judiciary is to punish the president or the senators or the high-ranking law formulation and enforcement officials, the judiciary must have the exact power. You understand? And when you want to check the deficiencies or the things that are constraining the functioning of the judiciary, you see things like lack of judicial financial independence or financial autonomy. You see tenure insecurity. You understand? There are a whole lot of things that could go down, but we've not gotten to that aspect yet. So, the legislative arm of the government, if they are also to perform autonomously and independently from the influence of the executive and the judiciary, the small components, which are the individual legislative members, must also have the commensurate autonomy or independence, such that they are in the parliament to make laws and they are not afraid of any other political godfather that is sitting behind closed doors and dictating which policy they should go and support. You understand? If they bring a bill that is not pro people or for the masses or the interest of the masses or an oil deal with a company or a license that should be given to, if these things don't go well for the interest of the people, these individual senators will have the right to say no to such policies, regardless of whether or not the political godfathers or the executive and which is mostly president or governor that is interested in. These people will say no. And this no will not mean political victimization. You understand? This is to tell you that even the senators can now disagree with their party, within the party, and there will not be any excessive control to force them to do otherwise. But for these people to be independent, which would be very good for us, it is wrong for Nigerians to sit and just wish that the Senate people or individually, our lawmakers, should develop the mind to reject policies that are not good, even against the interest of the political government. This will be defying the law of cause and effect. If you want something done, you must do something in order to get it. So why don't you just go back and restructure or amend the Electoral Act? First of all, you remove things like indirect party primaries out of our electoral system, such that we do away with the evil of delegates. What are delegates doing in our party primaries? These people are selfish individuals. This is why we need to understand the individual and how the individual will behave, and understand that between 10